In recent weeks, Vasyl Lomachenko and his team have expressed their apparent desire to seek revenge and gain revenge over Orlando Salido, who inflicted Vasyl Lomachenko's one and only career defeat. But it appears to have hit a stumbling block, and that is over money. Vasyl Lomachenko and his team clearly, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can go read these articles for yourselves, but Vasyl Lomachenko and his team clearly believe they're the A side in terms of money. Lomachenko is the title holder, and they're apparently, well, at least according to Orlando Salido and his people, they're lowballing Salido. They're offering him chicken change. Salido and his people believe that they are the A side because Salido got victory in the first fight, and Salido has more fans than Vasyl Lomachenko. That is indisputable, really. Orlando Salido is a Latino, huge Latino support. There's a huge Latino fan base in the United States, and Salido gets a lot of support for his fights. He's just coming out of a Fight of the Year candidate, so he's bringing the fans. He sees his market value as higher, and certainly when you're coming out the kind of fight that Salido is coming out of, even though he didn't win the fight, because it was such a good fight, that does raise your market value when you're in a good competitive fight. I mean, just look at Dillian Whyte. He got knocked out against Anthony Joshua, but because the fight was so competitive and it was such a good fight, it raised Dillian Whyte's stock. And Orlando Salido is a veteran. He's been in loads of world title fights during his career. He's just coming off a very exciting performance in an exciting fight. He's got the victory over Vasyl Lomachenko. He's got more fans than Lomachenko, so he's thinking, to hell with you. I ain't taking no chicken change. If you want the rematch, I have to get paid properly. Now, I'm not privy to exactly the figures that are being discussed behind the scenes, how much Lomachenko wants, how much Salido wants. I don't know. But my impression is, from a financial point of view, Lomachenko needs Salido more than the other way around. You know, Salido, I think he's, probably got paid a lot more than Lomachenko has so far in his career. So it's up to Lomachenko how much he really wants that revenge and how much he really wants that payday. I mean, him versus Salido, the rematch would be, I guess, a decent payday for Lomachenko, but I don't think it would be massive. So perhaps that's why he wants to keep, or seemingly wants to keep, the lion's share of the money, because he's looking for that massive payday. People always talk about avenging losses, and there are fighters out there who always made a point of avenging their losses. Muhammad Ali, for example, made a point of avenging his losses. The only loss he never avenged was right at the end of his career when he was really washed up and finished, and that was to Larry Holmes. Lennox Lewis was another guy who always made a point of avenging his losses. He lost twice to Oliver McCall and to Hasim Rahman, 2 losses, avenged both of them. So some fighters are like that, they make a point of avenging their losses, but then you get other fighters out there who are not so keen to avenge their losses. Amir Khan was never keen to avenge his loss to Bradus Prescott. He did try and get a rematch with Danny Garcia, and that fight may still be going ahead, we'll see. But he was never keen on the Prescott rematch, even though Prescott was the one actually chasing Khan for that rematch, which is interesting, isn't it? A guy who has already beat you, chasing you to fight you again. It is an unusual situation. So let me know how you feel about this, people. Vasyl Lomachenko hitting a stumbling block over money with the Orlando Salido rematch. I don't really like to get too much into this A-side, B-side debate. I think most of the time it is just used as an excuse to duck fights, this whole A-side, B-side thing. Obviously, this is prize fighting. Money is important, but when a fighter really wants an opportunity to get something done, to win a title, to avenge a defeat, to prove himself the top dog, he's normally willing to negotiate. He's normally willing to compromise in order to achieve whatever goal he's setting out to achieve. Obviously, there are instances. I think Vasyl Lomachenko's people were talking about instances where certain fighters take. I believe the manager of Lomachenko is the same manager of, I think, Sergey Kovalev. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong on this, but I believe Lomachenko and Kovalev have got the same manager. And he was talking about when Kovalev was, earlier on in Kovalev's career, when he was taking the short end of the stick in terms of money just to get certain fights made. And he's saying that Orlando Salido should do the same now with Vasyl Lomachenko. But to me, that don't make sense. Kovalev was taking the short end of the stick earlier on in his career because he had to, because he was unknown. He didn't have a fan base. Whereas in this instance here with Lomachenko and Salido, Salido's got more fans than Lomachenko, in the United States at least. He's the vastly more experienced fighter. He's the more accomplished fighter in terms of the number of championship fights he's had and whatnot. So really, he should be giving Lomachenko the same advice he gave Kovalev. You're gonna be the one that has to take the slight pay cut to get the fight made. That's my opinion anyway. If they really want the fight, maybe they don't really want the fight. Maybe they're not that bothered about the fight. Maybe they think they can go in a different direction. But if revenge and avenging that defeat to Salido is really one of Vasyl Lomachenko's priorities, then he's gonna have to compromise, and understandably so. You look at Salido, and as I say, he's got the fan base, he's experienced, his market value is still fairly high at the moment, coming off the back of a very exciting fight and a very exciting performance. It is what it is. Drop your comments in the comment section below, people. Let me know what you feel about this situation between Lomachenko and Salido. Will the rematch go ahead? And what will happen if the rematch does go ahead? Will Lomachenko deal with Salido easily this time? Or will Salido prove to be Lomachenko's boogeyman? Will he be able to repeat that victory? There was a lot of controversy, don't get it twisted, over the first, with the first victory over Lomachenko, because Salido, as we all know, is a very dirty fighter. He throws a lot of low blows, headbutts, elbows. I mean, you name it, he does it. And it was kind of a baptism of fire for Vasyl Lomachenko in the professional game, because in the amateurs, obviously there are some dirty tactics here and there, but nothing like it is in the professional game. And Salido really jumped him in and showed him what what that side of the pro game is really all about. Will he be able to get away with that in the rematch? Because it was effective first time around. Will he be as effective with it second time around? Will he be allowed to get away with it? What would it do to Lomachenko if he was to lose to Salido for a second time? Is that something which is worrying Lomachenko maybe in the back of his mind, or his people? And they may be concerned, hang on, what if we actually lose to Salido? That would really put a dent in Lomachenko's market value, in my opinion anyway. So let me know how you feel about everything that I've talked about in this video, people. It's your boy Hartman, I'm out.